Mike's already.
Okay. Thank you to the board members and our school board representative, Charlene Peterson, for working through the self-evaluation of the board. Thank you, everybody, for your time on it and your thoughtful comments during this process. I think that there were many comments that we could take away in terms of our glow and grow, but at the end of the day, I think that it says a lot when people are proud to be on this board and just really working well together. So thank you, and we have some next steps, so stay tuned on some of the things that will be worked on, and most of them went to Karen in governance, and so Karen, thank you for leading the helm on that. So we are at the agenda at the part where there's communication. So I don't have any to report, but Dr. Mucci.
Thank you. We did receive a communication email from Mayor Dorsey providing us with an update on the coverage area for township communication systems.
Okay, thank you. Board committee and liaison reports. Start with Karen.
Okay. In July, Morris County Ed Services does not meet, but we got a mid-month update from the superintendent. The only thing that's of importance is the enrollment in their extended school program was basically everybody that was in the school, so they got a full complement. And their enrollment for September is 29, and that includes 2 students who technically, prior to pandemic, would have aged out, but they changed the aging out age of 21, and they can take, depending on what the situation is, 1 to 2 more years in school. So 2 of the students that were eligible for that are taking it. So their enrollment is 29 for the coming year, down from 31 from the previous year. Policy, you're going to see the results of the policy committee is on the agenda. There's a number of, they're called, well, they're in the policy manual, but technically the 9,000 series is the bylaws of the board. So there's a series, there's a number of them that on the agenda for passage. They have all been checked against NJSBA. There is nothing new in them. The auditor one was reviewed by the finance committee. So there might have been a change or 2 to the heading, but basically they're all the same, so they can be, taken as is. The one for improving academic achievement in parent 6171.3, Tom had pointed out about referencing grades 9 to 12. I talked it over with Charlene and Jean Harkness, and we did take out a specific reference to grade 9 to 12, but we kept in the string of what follows it. Access to early college, high school, or dual, or dual enrollment, because we do that, even in 8th grade. I mean, so just the reference to 9 and 12 was taken out. And then there are 3 policies that are up for the second reading, and it would be passing. They have been vetted by the administration as well as the appropriate special groups like special services. And you know that it's like I said, on second reading. One of the things that came up in the policy meeting is we talked about regulations, and Melissa kindly developed a spreadsheet for the administration which indicates regulations that have a sample from the New Jersey School Boards Association and those that don't. So in their review of the regulations, it'll be easier for them. We went through this update of the great spreadsheet that Melissa put together. And what we did do was we discussed 2 things, using a third party for maintaining our policy manual, our policies. And basically it was unanimous by the committee and Dr. Mucci that we don't need it. I mean, after this goes up, technically, all we have is some 9,000 series to do to finish the entire book or manual. And with the spreadsheet that Melissa's developed, I mean, very honestly, we're good to go. I mean, it's going to be easy for whoever picks this up, and it'll be easy to maintain. The other thing was, and I had mentioned this in our goal session, we reviewed so many policies ensemble, so you got, in 3 years, there's gonna be a deluge. So what we're gonna do when we finish this update is actually go through and kind of, in some scheme, break it down into thirds so that it's a rotating every 3 years. And that does not preclude that during the course of a year, you know, an update comes up. But, I mean, in general, we're gonna try to space that out. In terms of governance, the self-evaluation, we did the, what do you call it? We went over the governance pledge. I had spent time with Tom, going over his concerns. The pledge, I have to say, and was sent out by Dr. Mucci, the addition, it was really all, I'm gonna say, grammatic, I mean, you know, punctuation or capitalizing, put an underline here. The only thing that was added, there's a statement, I don't have it in front of me, where you would approach either the superintendent or and it says, and now president, before it only had reference to one of them. Now, the pledge was only changing, aside from one item, making sure in the bullets that there were capitalizations in the first line, et cetera. The one thing that was changed, and I discussed this with Charlene, is in the last paragraph, and you follow the chain if you have a difficulty or a concern, and it says go to a committee chair, governance is specified now. Because it's not a policy, and these are things that we signed and or passed voluntarily, we're gonna say, quote unquote, revoting on it for January when we do the reorg. So because what was changed really was, you know, insignificant. And that's it.
Okay, any questions for Karen?
I do. Karen, you mentioned the operation guidelines and the pledge. I don't see it in the agenda. Is that a new item, or
Well-
am I missing it?
Well, we're not gonna,
We're not talking about this now?
no, we're not doing anything with it on the agenda.
Okay, fine, thank you. I just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Okay. Matt?
Thank you. The Finance Subcommittee met on August 3rd. I know Dan's gonna be slightly disappointed. He's been estimated $1.5 million surplus all year long. He only came in at $1,456,000, so he's off by a little bit.
44.
40.
Even less.
But on the good side is our financial, or extraordinary aid came in at $503,000, which is something we don't budget for.
Correct.
So that is just an extra amount of money that we can put into the surplus, and it's going to be added to our current budget with no additional tax levy to the town. So that's actually, at the end of the day, it was a really nice number to start off the new year.
Was there any thought of what the number was gonna be? I mean, obviously something lower.
Do you
It
have an
was
estimate?
397 the prior year,
Ah,
so we
okay.
went significantly up.
We
were
expected
Expected to go down, didn't we?
down, or they funded it at 90%. We didn't think they would maintain that funding. We had a couple of higher tuition costs and expenses on the special ed side of the ledger, so we were compensated for that differential, so that was a nice thing.
Nice.
Take it.
Yeah.
On the agenda tonight, we have bills that Ann and I went through last week, and everything was perfect. We also have some secretary and treasurer reports, year-end and monthly. Are they both on there?
Just year end.
Just year-end reports. So please approve those on the agenda. And transportation, which will be a little bump in the road, is always an ongoing battle. And we still, at least as of the meeting, we had 3 routes that we still needed to get filled. We had a bid out that nobody responded to, and on the 8th, we put out another bid, and I don't know if you.
It'll be, we're opening tomorrow morning.
We're open tomorrow morning. And we also had one special education bus route that needs to get filled, and when did that one go out?
That one went out,
school.
we're getting it quoted, we should have those quotes. It's currently preschool students, 3 in our community, going to a single destination, which is Gillette. So we're hopeful we'll be able to get that. We've expanded our horizon to the Morris County Ed Services Commission, the Somerset Ed Services Commission, and the Sussex Ed Service Commission, and they all have different admin rates. So right now, we're leaning towards Sussex, which is half the price of Somerset. It's 2%. And some of these routes are in excess of 100K, so you would save, 3 routes, you would save $6,000. So we'll open those tomorrow, and it's a problem. I mean, these bus companies are holding out until the 12th hour, and they were going to say X, Y, or Z. The one good position we're in is tomorrow is our second bid, so if we receive no bidders, we could then negotiate with the bus company, school district, the bus company. We don't have to go out to bid for a third time. So we'll get our numbers, and then we could call up the bus companies and negotiate, per se, with those companies.
That's what I was going to ask. What do you have? If we wind up with nothing after what we do, then you're going to do that.
That would be, I don't even want to think of that. I think it's unacceptable, but we're working now to really put everything in place.
Another item we discussed was the lunch program. That is back on track. Dan and his team has worked out a deal with, I forget the name of the company, but they're going to be providing the food for us. The only difference is that we're going to have one of our internal maintenance persons actually drive to the location, pick up the food, and bring it back to us. But
And this is for the free and reduced lunch.
free.
That is correct, yes. We've
Is it
been
the group
looking
out of
into this.
Kearney?
No, this is Pomptoni and
Pomponi. Thank you.
it's still the high school cafeteria.
Right.
Oh.
Coming from Watchung, they were nice enough last year from when we implemented January through June to use their maintenance people to transport it right to Gillette. Tim Stice told us at the end of the year, you can't do that. We've added that additional person on our side of the ledger through Pritchard Industries, so we're going to have that one individual on a regular basis pick it up and bring it back and deliver it to the schools. Last time, Dr. Mucci and myself were talking about trying to expand the lunch program, all-encompassing, the logistics, a lot of moving parts. Until we really get it in a plan that we could implement, we're like, let's do our free and reduced again. It was highly successful. 40 to 60 students were getting fed that in prior years were not, which is a great thing. And then we'll look to expand when we more or less a controlled growth as opposed to rolling it all out at one time.
Fantastic.
And the last item was back to Cameron policy 9250 was reviewed by Dan and his team and the subcommittee, and it's good as is, no changes. Robin did a great job of looking at other districts around the area, and we're doing just as much as everybody else, if not more, to stay within the policy. So that's good. Back to you is good.
Great.
And that's I hope that is all I have. Any questions?
Okay. Tom?
I communicated with Dennis Sandow, Chairman of the Planning Board Committee, and he has said that there's nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Fair enough. Alex?
Thank you. The Building and Grounds Committee met on July 29th to accommodate Mark Brasina's vacation, so I hope he and his family are enjoying a wonderful vacation, which is well-deserved. This is a very busy time of year for the Building and Grounds Committee. Mark reported that there were 14 contractors working in the district generally at any given time during the summer. He didn't have any dates on the window repair project, and I believe as of then, we're still waiting on some of the parts and supplies to come in. He indicated that the HVAC, we continue doing preventative maintenance. There's one unit for a Gillette classroom that we've been waiting for a few months, I think more than 6 months at this point. And there are a few others that need to be replaced. These are just kind of supply chain issues, but those are on order.
It actually came today with the hoist, and they put it up on the roof. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you for the update.
Yep.
So the 6 months wait
Yes,
was worth it.
6 months, 1 day.
Just in time.
But overall, I think everyone can agree that the HVAC system has operated incredibly well over the past year. A lot of improvements have been made. We have a much better understanding of how these things operate and how they need to be maintained, and have made the right investments in training and in repairs to those. So fortunately, we're in a much better position than we've been in the past. There's, in general, he indicated that we're beginning to address some plumbing issues in-house and not having to go out to a contractor for those. So that's part of the new strategy going forward, is deepening the bench and having greater in-house competence for those kinds of assignments. New floors at the Millington Library. A lot of different services to the Millington School had been looked at and improved while they were doing the repaving project there. So he explained that, improved storm drain, improved electrical and technology conduits had been run prior to the milling work and eventually the repaving. And I drove by it, I think it was over the weekend, and I saw that the blacktop had been laid. It looks beautiful. It's going to be a much, much different experience for parents to do pickup drop-offs. There's going to be more space for the administrative parking spots in the beginning, up front. I remember the first time I was there, I was trying to back out of a space, and I don't have a huge SUV, but I remember there being cars parked along the sidewalk, and I couldn't really safely back out of the parking spots while there were cars waiting there. So that additional space should really lead to operational improvement and also safety. So kudos on a huge project done, and I think everyone's going to be very satisfied with that. Tree pruning continues to be done. In fact, he had called back the contractor because he wasn't 100% satisfied with what was being done. So tree pruning is an incredibly important safety issue as well, especially in the fall and winter months. So they had poured the concrete for the new sheds. I don't know, have the new sheds been delivered?
No.
Okay, so we're still waiting on the 2 new sheds. The locks survey continues, another theoretical safety and access improvement where there are going to be master keys available for all the locks in the school buildings. Gym flooring refinishing should have begun this past week, I believe.
Correct, yep.
Okay. Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder.
No, you're good.
This is a week old.
Perfect.
So Dan is monitoring that while Mark is on vacation. Building relighting project at that time was about 85% complete at Gillette, and Millington is probably going to be finished sometime this week or next. Integrated pest management, this is something that's always on our agenda. Only routine services have been needed for that so far. The new equipment in the playground had been completed, and I believe they're just waiting on swing mats to be added after the new mulch comes in. The 2 playgrounds, I believe it was for both of them, right?
Yeah, both.
Yes, one, yeah.
Swing
Gillette
bats
and
are for
Millington?
both, yep.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me. We've received quotes related to the potential improvements to the baseball, softball fields. We understand that these are big investments, that probably only one field will be able to be done each season, but we're looking at doing kind of more of like a maintenance plan for that in a 5-year cycle. The fire alarm improvements are going very well, 90% completed. And I believe there's some sort of inspection that needs to be done with that before the school year begins. The exterior brick will be done probably this week or next week. I believe that was for the Millington School?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The gaping hole.
Stop
That
it with
gaping
that.
hole.
It was a
Yes,
gaping hole.
The gaping hole is covered.
It was a gaping hole. Sorry about that. Choice words. So the sheds had already been removed, the permit was filed, the electric was run to those new concrete poured areas for those sheds to be installed. Mark, was just very grateful that we've gotten very good quality contractors on every job, and everything's gone smoothly so far over the summer. This is a very difficult time for buildings and grounds because you're trying to do so many projects all at once, and coordinating that is a challenge, and making sure, especially with supply chain issues that everyone's experiencing and, added expenses, things have, for what we understand, remained on budget, remained on time, which is a testament of itself. There And one of the comments he made, he doesn't want anyone to think that we've ignored Central School, but that has been a very important operational area for summer programs, and more focus on the inside of Central will be given in the coming year. I think that's it. We're expecting a new 5-year capital plan to be probably provided sometime in September, so that's one of the big items for our committee that we're hoping to make more progress on in the fall. And I think that's it. Yes,
Just to touch,
Yep.
Okay, Melissa, yeah.
sorry.
just to touch upon with Central, I think they were the first though to get the whole completely repaved
They
and
were
all the lights
repaved.
work on, so it's,
The new windows.
and the new windows, so
Air
it's,
conditioning.
yeah, they were, so, I don't.
It's not like we're ignoring
we're
any
not
other one of the
ignoring-
schools.
But they were the first school to really get everything looked at and done during the school year, I believe, wasn't it?
And last week, we painted the foundation around the bottom of it, if you go by it, and all the railings have been painted, so if you look at it again, it looks much nicer, and
Didn't we get a
the
new
new sign
sign?
is coming the 30th, it's been on back order, but supposedly by the 30th, we'll have the new sign in front of the school.
Sign in
Replacing
front of what school?
the sign that, let's not say sign, the board that's inside of
marquee.
Central, we did new brick pointing on the 2 pillars, and then we purchased a new insert. If you really look
Oh.
at it closely, it's all scratched, all the letters are taped on, so it'll be a 2022 sign that's easy to open, lock, change, and it'll be visible from both sides, so as if you're driving by, you don't really have to squint, you could see it nice and clearly.
What about the
Katie?
sign in front of Gillette?
That one is, the township wanted us to leave it out there for a couple of weeks to make sure that we can in fact see it. There's no obstructions. Once they give us the okay, then we'll put a permanent structure right there, if they approve that location.
Same kind of sign, obviously, that's at
That
Central.
sign that you see will be the same, except with metal pillars on each side in front of Gillette, in front of Central.
So-
The pillars are the same with a new insert.
And Millington got one too, didn't they?
No.
Was
no,
that sign always
no.
been there?
Well, maybe with the new brick and then the flagpole, and the sidewalk and the Belgian
You're
block.
noticing it
The
now.
sign is still.
I have to say, I wanted the white boxes over the windows.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that
Yeah.
those used to make me so sad when they were all dirty and nasty, so them getting fixed,
They used to make Mark feel the same way. He was like
they
fanatical
look
about those.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So the last comment I'm going to make is that you can't do all of this without the right teamwork and collaboration with finance. So thank you very much to Dan, Dr. Mucci, and our finance committee for making all these projects possible, and for Mark and his enthusiasm and hard work throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa?
No report.
Okay, Katie?
Okay, I have 2 reports. The Community Relations Committee met last Tuesday, August 2nd. The attendees were myself, Tom Grosskopf, Danielle Daly, and Dr. Mucci. We went over website cleanup, just regular ongoing maintenance. We spoke with Jack and any concerns we had and updates and procedures going forward. We spoke with Dr. Mucci about back-to-school communication. She has a newsletter coming out with a lot of information for families with procedures, meetings, and the like. We also clarified that the open house date for Gillette will be from pre-K to first grade, and it's Wednesday, August 31st from 2:30 to 3 p.m. And then we also discussed the facilities improvement presentation will be at our next meeting, and Mark Christina will be presenting it, and he will really show everything that Alex has been talking about, so I look forward to seeing that. And also, there was a survey sent out to the community to gauge interest and need for the pre-K, and that will be looked at by the administration, also the pre-K committee, to strategize how we can meet the growing needs of our community. And that is all for the communications. Oh, our next meeting is September 6th at 2 p.m. And then I have another for the Long Hill Education Foundation. Forgive me. Whenever you need to look at something, it disappears. Here we go. And the Education Foundation is busy gearing up for the 22-23 school year. We are kicking off with a very exciting fundraising activities. There's a fall outdoor family movie night that will be held at Central Middle School on Saturday, September 24th. Final details, such as the movie and start time, are to be determined, but the evening will likely start around 6:30, so please save the date. We are selling back-to-school yard signs. The form is available on social media and will be sent via email shortly. That way you can show your Long Hill pride. It says, Proud Long Hill Family. Let's see what else is going on. We will have a table at back-to-school night and have confirmed that we will deliver opening remarks at Gillette School. We will be launching 2 teacher staff grant cycles for 22-23 school year. Application deadlines are still being decided, but we will likely be beginning of October and again in February. They will also be accepting rolling applications for special requests throughout the year. Such special requests will include items, supplies, or projects that are not covered by the regular school budget and do not meet our criteria for grant applications. And let's see, forced class registration will open on August 24th, and classes will begin the week of September 27th. So far, there's, Jessica Walsh has posted a brief update on our Facebook page of the classes, the tentative schedule, but more information will be coming, forthcoming. And then David Flood will be coming in the fall on, it says Tuesday, November 8th, but I think it's the 17th.
I don't remember.
I don't
off the top
remember,
of
so
my
I
head.
apologize. I think this date is wrong. But it's in the beginning of November, and we're really excited to have him there. And we are going to be working with the PTO to clarify the roles of the Education Foundation and the PTO for funding requests, and that should be coming out shortly. And that is everything. We're very excited. This is a good year for exciting things to come.
That's good things.
Okay, any questions for Katie? Okay, Karen had one follow-up.
I apologize for this. We were just getting on the bandwagon, and committees were requested to put in their goals for the year. And originally, we started at the beginning of the year, we were looking at it as calendar goals. And what did we just do? We established goals that we really should align our goals to this set of goals. I mean, so it'd be like the school year. So I'm now asking the committees again. Now, your goals may stay the same, but are they aligned to the board goals that we just set? If they are, that's great, just let me know. If they're not, then rework it. And then, one of the advantages of this, we said, if, there'll be a change of committees come January, and this does provide some kind of continuity if they're working with the same goal set. So,
Yeah,
that's what we'll do.
that's good.
All right, thank you.
I mean, it was new to us, so it's a learning process, but that's it, we're growing. The only thing I have to report is the board renegotiated a new contract with Dr. Mucci. The executive superintendent approved that contract, and there's a hearing notice that was issued, and we'll have that hearing and a motion to approve on September 12th. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Thank you to the board for all the continued dedication to our committee work. We are all working hard and determined to make this one of the best starts of the school year that we ever had. We're excited. Not only does everything look wonderful, but we're ready with a great schedule of new opportunities in curricular programming as well. As mentioned, Mr. Persina, our supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, will be here on September 12th with a detailed presentation so that the things we've been discussing as a board, you'll be able to see before and after pictures with. The administration, the district mental health team, and the Long Hill Police will host a town hall meeting on school security on Thursday, September 8th at 7 p.m. At this virtual meeting, each of the groups will discuss some of the school security measures that we have in place and leave ample time to address questions and answers from parents and community members. That meeting link and other important information on the start of the school year will be sent out to all families by the end of this week, and it will also be posted on our website. So if you want to check into something on back to school night dates or get the meeting link and get that school security meeting on your calendar, just make sure that you have check your email this week, and also if you can find everything on our website. We're excited this year that we're going to offer courtesy drop-off at Gillette. So we do know that it's incredibly challenging for parents who have children in both schools and are on a drop-off as opposed to a bus schedule. So each morning at Gillette School, beginning at 8:15, parents will be able to drop off their children for a supervised drop-off. It'll be in the school library and supervised by our staff. In that same back-to-school mailing, I'll send out a survey so that people can just indicate their name and address, and we'll take good care of everybody, get them excited and in early in the day, and then that'll make it easier for everybody to get to Gillette on time. We can't thank the public, all the parents, enough for the way that they have supported us through the transportation challenges that we faced with less bus routes. Also, the paving in and around town. As somebody who doesn't know all the roads in and out, I would find myself getting lost going from school to school. So hopefully, as we move into the fall, we have nice, smooth roads and smooth parking lots, and we can have delightful early drop-off and have calm mornings for everybody. So we are incredibly excited for the beginning of this year. Also to install many of the improvements given to us by Force to really enhance sensory education for all students. The Preschool Advisory Committee has worked extremely hard to develop a comprehensive survey to gauge our preschool population in the coming years. And in just a few short days out there, we have over 110 responses. So we're feeling really confident in the quality of information that we're getting from the preschool interest survey, which is exciting. Tonight, I'm recommending to the board some impressive candidates on the agenda this evening, and this marks the completion of all personnel appointments for the coming year. We're excited about that. And we're really looking forward to some wonderful hires, especially in the music department for the new choral program. And we think that this is going to energize even more the opportunities that we offer our students here in Long Hill. I had to make myself a note. Oh, motion 32. I had a question on that I wanted to share with the whole board. Motion 32 is for additional sections at Central as per the negotiated agreement with the LHEA. 4 out of 6 of those are the same as last year.
You mean 31?
Did I say the wrong number?
Yeah, you said 32.
Oh, 31. 4 out of 6 are the same as last year. That's simply because we have 2 world language teachers and we have 3 grade levels. So the world language teachers have additional sections to make sure that all of our students have the opportunity to have the world language curriculum offered to them at the grade levels at Central. And the same thing with physical education. So we had that last year as well. So for those additional sections to make sure our Central students are fit and active and have phys ed every day, we have those physical education classes. The 2 that are new are for what's called GUIDE, which is a supervised academic reinforcement class for 6th graders during the lunch periods of the day. And in order to accommodate that additional academic support time, we needed to add 2 additional sections. And the reason for that is actually we used to be able to have some paraprofessionals who would supervise the lunchroom, and we've actually decreased the number of paraprofessionals. So the good news is that we're starting to reduce services. Where we can, we're including them more. but also that doesn't give us as much supervision as we would need. So we're adding those 2 positions in. And other than that, I think everybody, the motions are self-explanatory. Our curriculum motions reflect the hard work of our faculty to update textbooks and curriculum in key areas, and we're especially excited about our efforts to enhance our writing curriculum. This was a teacher-led initiative to increase the amount of opportunities to offer more formal instruction in writing, as well as encourage writing across all curricular areas. Each year, we also revise our district mentoring and professional development plan to support our faculty and staff's growth as educators and educational leaders. And these motions are listed in the other section of the agenda, numbers 38 and 39. Thank you very much.
One question about the early drop-off at
Yeah.
Gillette. Do you envision that teachers or someone will come out to get the children from their car, or do they going to have to get out of the car and bring them into school?
Parents will have to walk in the front door. They'll come for that period of time during the early drop-off. They'll drop off at the front door. They'll get walked into the library, and then parents can go on their way and be cleared out before the buses and the parent regular drop-off time is.
So in the circle.
So in the circle in front of Gillette. So we're starting with Gillette, and our conversation was, we'll see how that goes. And Dan, correct me, it's about $15,000.
For the stipend.
Yes, for the year to offer this service. So it seemed like something that we could build in within the budget for $15,000 that would really make life easier for parents and also have the students arrive calmly and ready to learn. Originally, we had been looking at, can we just back up our start time? We want to begin earlier for our younger children. We would love to do that. Unfortunately, due to transportation limitations, our first effort was to bid out our own transportation contracts and start our school days earlier. When we weren't able to do that, this was the next best option. We'll monitor it. We welcome, as I'm sure the board has feedback to offer from parents, if we can continue it. We talked about maybe the idea if we need to roll it out at Millington as well, but the concept behind it is, as long as you sign up, you can drop your child off.
Okay. Interim Business Administrator's Report.
Good evening. On tonight's agenda, we have our Board Secretary and Treasurer's Report for June 2022, our bill list for June 22 and August 22. We also have a motion for participation in the milk program, which is an annual resolution, and we're maintaining our price at 40 cents for the special milk program. We're approving the Sussex County and Somerset County Co-op to provide transportation. We're seeing our routing for special ed and regular ed at approximately a 30% increase. In accordance with New Jersey state law for travel, we have a motion to increase the travel to 47 cents per mile, and this is different from the IRS rate. This is a special education rate that must be approved annually. We have our non-public allocations for non-public schools located in our community, and we act as a pass-through for those funds, so it's no cost to the taxpayer. We have to monitor, cut POs, purchase on their behalf, and then we deliver the good or product, or it'll come pick it up for those non-public schools. At this point of the school year, usually our concern is finances or the start of the year or construction projects, and right now it's supply chain and busing. Trying to get the products here, and our busing and our routing, we're up 14 courtesy students. But more importantly, in our routing software, we've designed it so all pickups are same side pickup and drop-offs. So what that means is if we're going down Long Hill Road or even a side street, we don't want to have a child get out of that school bus, have to walk in front of the school bus, cross the street. So that's going to add a couple of minutes to our routes, but we've added the fifth route back. And, safety is important. Safety, safety, safety. We've been out testing our routes to make sure these buses, because it gives you on the software, it actually shows you the bus going through the town. And we're really concerned of that same site pickup. So we're very, very happy about that. Again, as Dr. Mucci stated, we ask the community to be patient. You know, those first couple days are going to be a little more difficult. We have, I think, 72 courtesy students, which is up 12 from prior years. We have one route with 3 special ed preschool students that hopefully we'll have a quote for tomorrow. We have 3 routes with town pickup, multiple destinations or drop-offs, Millington and Gillette, that hopefully will receive a quote tomorrow. And hopefully when you upload all of the stuff over to Genesis, we'll have all our routes there. Usually on our subscription busing or the courtesy busing, we had a cutoff date of July 1st. We sent out a blast just a couple of days ago that we extended a little while, but let us know within the next 2-3 days, because we really got to make a line in the sand, and because it's ever changing. If you get an outlier, to have that student get on that bus causes a lot of issues with our transportation. But as Alex has stated, you know, it's a team. We have a good group of people that are all working together for a common push, from Mr. Prasina, getting the support from Dr. Mucci to let us really run and do what we need to do is important also. So I just want to, you know, acknowledge Mark for the job he's done. I mean, when you look around the town, just the school itself, from the bushes being trimmed in July as opposed to doing it August 31st before the first day of school, to the mulch, to when you walk into Gillette now, when you pull in, that field used to have grass in it that I couldn't even look at on the infield. I would ruin my day every morning. I'd walk and pull in now, I see it. Where you have the dumpsters when you pull in now, it's nice and clean, the gate is fresh. If you notice now, there's new fencing on the back of Gillette. It never had the bar across the top. That's been replaced. The Belgian block over at Millington, the sheds. We've had all our gymnasium backboards, dividers, all safety inspected to make sure we're okay, all of the bleachers. The gyms are all completed. We're now working on the stage at Gillette, so that'll be done also. The Gillette school is completed with the exception of the multi-purpose room with our lights. The 5th grade wing at Millington is completed with all of the lights. We're having a crew at Millington and Central starting tomorrow to expedite this process. And then we're going to hit all of the external lights. So we're going to do all internal first, then we're going to have all LED outside, and we're curious to see what that bill is going to be from when we had it prior to when we have it now, to make sure the savings is enough to cover what they said it was going to be. Otherwise, we're going to have an issue with JCP&L, you know, because that's what they promised, and that's what we want to see done. So, you know, kudos to Mark for everything he's done. To Dr. Mucci for providing the freedom to do what we need to do, and the confidence in us to get it done. So I'm excited, as Dr. Mucci is, that it's going to be another good year. And you know, we're raising the stakes. The expectation is not average. We want better. We want best, and that's where we're going, and that's where we're headed. It's been a long process, but we're very close. And you could see, I guess, the proudness in our colleagues. You know, as you walk in. Gillette is now bright. You know, you walk into that main entrance. We doubled up the lighting when you enter to make sure it's light. The white around the windows have been cleaned. They've been painted. So very, very happy. And we all have a passion to do it. And I think that shows in all the work we do. So thanks, Dr. Mucci. Thank my colleagues and everyone in the board office, because we have a really great team.
And 14 days, only 14 working days
yeah,
till the
so yeah.
teachers come back.
That's what Mark was yelling.
We're on the
He wa-
14-day
He was
countdown.
yelling at the light man today about 14 work days.
Melissa?
Have we figured out what the longest bus route will be yet? Like how long some of these kids will be sitting on the bus?
51, I think we have it at now. The return is right now an hour and one.
Okay.
Right, and part of the problem is, all these buses are tiered, and a lot of the issues where the times are unrealistic. If the bus is dropping off that's picking up students at Central at 2:45, and that route takes 23 minutes, no way could it be at Gillette or Millington at whatever time, 3:15.
Yeah.
You know, it gets there at 3:18, and then I was nervous that they were late, ran upstairs to say, what time do these buses get here in prior years? And they've always been late. And the tiers that come from Watchung Hills, we have 5 bus routes that are dependent on Watchung Hills getting off on a timely fashion, and then piggyback to Central, then piggyback to Gillette and Millington. So you have a triple tier route, it's called, that everything has to go perfect on the first leg to make Central on time, and if that goes perfect, then Gillette and Millington will go on time. So it's 51 minutes, 46 students. The Millington-only route is a little lighter because we looked at it today. That may have about 30 students, and now we're just tinkering to make it a little quicker on that 51. We took 3 students off. We saved 4 minutes. So now we may be able to push that down to whatever it is, 46 or 47 minutes. The issue is the timing on tiered routing is quite difficult because you're depending on 2 other legs of that tier to go perfectly, so that third tier could go, and that's the Millington Gillette, which historically in this community for years has always been tardy.
When you say it's an hour and 1 minute, is that from the minute the school ends or from the minute the kids get on the bus?
The minute the kids get on the bus,
To
yes.
the last stop.
To the last stop, yes, yes. And I mean, if you want, you could come in, we could print out the routes. It's pretty cool how it does it. You can see all the stops, all the kids. We have maps of the streets. They were out driving the streets today to see if we could turn these buses around in a different area to try to get them back on the other side of the road, since we want to do that same side pickup.
Alex?
I just wanted to commend Dr. Mucci and Dan for a brilliant decision to do this courtesy early drop-off. So my son had an 8:29 pickup in Millington to try to get him to Gillette.
Right.
And part of this is going to be a question. So that's a game changer for us. Logistically, it'll work perfectly, and hopefully it'll get to school on time more often.
Right, right.
But when you say you have to register for it, would it be at the beginning of the year that the parent would have?
Yeah, and the main thing is really just about keeping accurate attendance, right? So there's going to be sometimes families who might not need this, but for 1 day a week, or we just want to be able to have knowledge that parents will say, if they have to run and give blood on their own way to work, can they drop their children off at the time? So if you need, we're starting it at 8:15 at Gillette. If your family needs something prior to 8:15, they would have to use the pay service through AlphaBest. But if 8:15 is something that works for you, you just have to put in that you would be interested in using it, because we want to gauge an idea of how many are going to be there on each day, because we believe that we shouldn't really have more than 20, 24 youngsters per supervising adult. So we would need to board approve another individual if we have a stronger response. And that's the other reason that we're beginning with the pilot at Gillette, because it's our smallest population and the easiest to manage, because we know that the maximum number of students at Gillette that would be using this, the most it could be is 190. But then you look at how many have bus transportation as an option, so you subtract that. Then you looked at how many people had paid for early morning care historically, because they needed to maybe get dropped off at 7:30 or 7:45. So once you got all those numbers, it's pretty manageable to see that at Gillette, just helping, having 20 to 30, 40 at the most dropped off is something we can do.
Excellent. Thank you for
And
that.
I think we were saying, even if it were a random Wednesday where mom had an appointment early and she wanted to drop off, we should be able to accommodate those type of one-offs, so to speak. So it's not as if you have to call and has to be registered that you're coming, but to keep accountability of children. But we also have the one-offs that we could also take in those instances, as we discussed.
Okay, Katie?
Is there any accommodation for families where they're running late one day and it would be easier to drop a sibling off at Gillette so that you're not doing the Gillette to Millington hustle? That gets a little scary.
I think that's part of it.
Is that,
Yeah,
that is allowed? So, but
Yeah, right.
it would be like in a family that doesn't necessarily need it on the time, and it's not because mom has a doctor's appointment, it's because we missed the bus or something like that.
So it would be.
So it's, the only location though is Gillette,
Right.
right? And the
Yes,
intention,
so if
and
you
yeah,
drop the Gillette kid off before
At
the
8,
drop-off time,
yeah.
so that then you get to Millington on.
that's the intention, right?
That's
Just to make
right.
life easier.
Yes,
Right.
okay, just,
That's an
Could-
incredible service to provide. I mean, when I
Don't
had
prevent car
to,
accidents.
when I had to do drop-offs at 2 different schools at the same time, it was extremely stressful.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier to just change the time of the school, but we can't because of everything you just heard about the
course,
busing.
Yeah, busing.
So this is the second best thing, but we're still striving to get, maybe next year we'll be reporting, all right, now we've got a change in schedule, and this is going to be more logical for everyone. And if the transportation issues that Mr. Borgo outlined kind of resolve, and but every Monday, we receive, a notification from the county about the, people who have been deemed eligible, not in our district necessarily, I'm talking about statewide. They were awarded positions as bus drivers, and then, they don't pass whatever test or certification or background. So it's not as though these companies across the state aren't pushing people in to try to get the jobs. They just can't fill them with qualified people.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Comments from the public on agenda items? Okay. All right, so resolutions. Katie, will you move in number 1 minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Questions? Roll call?
Mr. DeJamos,
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf.
Yes.
Mrs. McLennan.
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist,
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo,
Yes.
Mrs. Case.
Yes. Melissa, will you move in financials, numbers 2 through 14?
So moved?
Second.
Questions? Roll call?
Mr. DeJamos.
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf,
Yes.
Ms. McLennan,
Yes.
Mrs. Nyquist,
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo,
Yes.
Mrs. Case.
Yes. Alex, will you move in special services, numbers 15 through 20?
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
I always like to point out number 16, these are out-of-district placements.
Correct.
These are always mandatory, they are important, these children deserve the education, it is their right as citizens of this country. However, it is important that this is a non-discretionary expense on our behalf, and if you look at it, I didn't do the math, but it's
About $1 million.
about $1 million out of our $20 million
Yep,
budget.
Yep,
So 5% of our budget, right?
yep.
Very good.
There you go. Now you're here. Keep going.
You ready for
Here we go, 5% of our budget, it goes to sending kids out of our district. So again, they deserve this, we're not questioning it, but it's good for the community to know that this is something that we face as a district. And this cost only goes up every year.
Plus transportation.
Plus, and on top of that, transportation, which is a completely
Yes.
different issue. I just like to point that out.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. DeJamos,
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mrs. McLennan,
Yes, but abstain from 15 and just 15.
Ms. Nyquist,
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo,
Yes.
Mrs. Case.
But
Oh, I'm
abstain
sorry.
from number 20.
20.
Yes.
All right, and Mrs. Case.
Yes. Okay, Tom, will you move in personnel items number 21 through 32 and A1?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeJamos,
I do want to make a point. I'm so sorry. But given the staffing shortages that all schools throughout the country are experiencing, I'm very happy to see that we have filled our staff and we are ready to go for the year. So, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mrs. McLennan,
Yes, but abstain to 22 and 32.
Ms. Nyquist,
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo,
Yes.
Mrs. Case.
Yes. Matt, will you move in curriculum numbers 33 and 34?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeJamos,
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mrs. McLennan,
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist,
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo,
Yes.
Mrs. Case.
Yes. Karen, will you move in policy number 35 through 37 and other number 38?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Mrs. McLennan?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist? Ms. Nyquist?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Ms. Rivolo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. I have to amend that a little bit because I only said 38 and not 39. So 38 through 39 other.
Right.
If anybody wants to change their vote for anything.
So as
Sorry about
Do you
amended,
need to second that?
just second the amendment.
Yeah, go for it. We're good.
All right, Katie, you'll second it.
Second.
Thank you.
Got it.
Sorry about that. Any items for discussion? Any old business?
Did we do the addendum too, or is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
She put it in, yep, with
Personnel.
21 and 32 plus 1A.
got it. Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Old business? New business? No? Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, standing, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Oh, did you just do a voice vote or? do you
Yeah, I'll
care
do
to-
it again. All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. You saved 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.